Hello again. 3 years ago, Britain left the European Union. Since then, concerns around immigration have been largely directed at the arrival of illegal immigrants posing as asylum seekers, those people who are crossing the channel in inflatable boats. You'll often see people getting worked up about this, and some newspapers act to wind them up with stories about illegal immigrants being given hotel rooms and all the rest of it. When Rishi Sunak gave a major speech the other day, he gave 5 promises to which he says that we must hold him. One of these related to the small boats which are crossing the English Channel. Last year, 40 or 50,000 people came to Britain by this means, which I'll be the first to agree is a far from desirable state of affairs. Here, though, is a simple question for viewers. Forget about illegal immigrants and foreign students. Forget about all those who came here as tourists and didn't return to their own country. How many people do you suppose have been granted the legal right of permanent residence in this country since we left the European Union in January 2020? The answer is, rather shockingly, 10 million. Yep, that's 10 million in just 3 years. That is 5 million people from the European Union who happened to be here when we left the European Union, and another 5 million people who are currently living in Hong Kong, who all have right of permanent residence in Britain. They were granted it since we left the European Union, since Brexit. You will observe that during his speech the Prime Minister didn't mention legal immigration. Instead, he wishes us to be distracted by a sideshow, including the absurd Rwanda plan, which at most might mean that a few hundred people leave this country and are replaced by the refugees which we promised to take. He did not say a word about those 10 million people who have been granted the right to live in this country since 2020, did he? Of course, that's not the whole story, not by a long chalk. There is increasing acceptance that in addition to those 10 million, we should also plan for another million a year for the foreseeable future. In the description to this video, I give a link to a report from the Social Market Foundation, a think tank which has suggested this figure. What is a little disturbing is that nobody seems minded to challenge the idea, and indeed an awful lot of people now in Parliament and elsewhere are shrugging their shoulders, muttering about an ageing population and simply taking it for granted that this is fine. Apparently we need 1 million people a year now. Net immigration in the year to June 2022 was over 500,000. The aim now is to double it. This is why Rishi Sunak wants to focus on the small boats. He doesn't want us to think about or look at the real nature of immigration in this country, which is the legal immigration